Welcome everybody. Um, Welcome to my channel, Philosophization 101 with Dr. Varghese. I'm Matthew Varghese. I introduce the philosophical thought that are important for us in this time. And I'm a teacher of philosophy. I'm trained basically in classical philosophy. I teach university level students philosophical courses. And today, as the first introductory lecture, I introduce you my new book. And this book is about English bilingual project, and this book is discussing how to teach English to non-native English learners in countries like Japan or India or Russia or China or Korea or all these areas. The English education today is constrained by certain preconceived understanding that a language like English is a culturally conditioned language of the British Empire, and only those people who live in the or connected with the empire have an access to the real English or real language, but those who have no access to those empire or the Western world may not have a clear access to the knowledge, English knowledge. So I have developed this course. This is actually EBP or English Bilingual Project. How can we teach English as a bilingual language? That is the main discussion of this book. And when you are attempting to teach English as a bilingual language, why it is called bilingual, English bilingual? There will be two languages in this scheme. One is your mother tongue or your national language or whatever, and the other should be English. And that English should be taught in a bilingual format. So bilingual format means we will gain proficiency and fluency in English like we will have proficiency and fluency in the mother tongue. And that is the purpose of this, this method. And bilingualism means you learn a language for cultural communication. Within your community, you are not ignoring your cultural community, but you are learning a new language, English, for communicating with a wider audience. Okay, so in this case, both language should be in the fore. And we should be able to switch between English and the mother tongue, and we will be able to communicate efficiently and effectively in both the languages. Unfortunately, we have a preconceived notion that our mother tongue is the language of thought. We will talk each aspect in the coming lectures, but I will just give an introduction. today. Your mother tongue is the language of thought. You are constrained by your mother tongue. You think in the using mother tongue, and you can only have full proficiency in your mother tongue. You cannot write like a native speaker, or you cannot write like a man who learned a language from childhood. Unless you are learned this language from childhood, you will not be able to use it properly. This is a fact that it's a widespread understanding, and people are very comfortable with this understanding. But I, in this book, argue that your mother tongue is not your language of thought. You have a language of thought that is called mentalese, which you can make a simple translation as mind language. So you have a thinking language that passes across cultures, and all humanity share that aspect. We as humans, according to classical philosophy, Greek philosophy basically, we are endowed with two aspects, or our soul or our life is conditioned. It is been not conditioned, but it has been permissive with two aspects, which is called logos and nous. Logos means the logical thinking, reasoning, and the ability to use language. And nous means the intellect. These two things are given to us upon birth. Like a dog has a superior sensibility to smell, no? That is its ability. Or a cat have ability to see things. Or a lion has a superior power, to survive. Or elephant have a trunk. Without a trunk, the elephant may not be able to live. Like humans have these two gifts from God, that is logos, logic, reasoning, language, and intellect, based on which you can create knowledge. And that knowledge actually, again, can be stored in a language. And you can communicate your thoughts using language. This idea is matured in the philosophy of Aristotle, and he is the one who promoted the base idea of mentalese. He thinks that our thought language actually promote coming out from a single thought that is going across the world. And that is actually, he called it as in Greek as semiopotetas, and that is the basis of our thinking, imagination, and creativity. So we actually, when I am speaking in English now, I am using mentalese to transfer my thoughts from mentalese to English. When I am speaking in Japanese, for example, I use my thought into the structure of Japanese language. 私、日本語で話すとき、日本語の、順番に、ストラクチャーに、私のメンタリスを入れる。ね。ഞാൻ മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ മദർ ടങ് ആയ മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോഴും ഞാൻ ഈ ഭാഷയിൽ നിന്ന് ആ ഭാഷയിലേക്ക് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യണം. सो हिंदी में बोलने में भी मेरा विचार थॉट्स हिंदी भाषा का व्याकरण पे विवर्तन करूँगा. So actually all these languages, actually I am thinking in that language. I am trying to find the grammatical and what do you call the vocabulary of a particular language, and I transfer my thoughts into the structure of that language. And that is that needs certain way of approach. And the present approach of education in India, in the world, is that we think in the mother tongue and we translate our thought from mother tongue to a particular language. Similarly, what you do, if I imagine my mother tongue is Japanese and I'm going to talk, translate my thought from Japanese to English, just imagine, watashi wa ie ni ikimasu. Watashi wa densha tsukatte ie ni ikimasu. Watashi wa densha to basu tsukatte ie ni ikimasu. When you translate this into English, the structure of the formation changes. I go home, ie ni ikimasu. It is coming in the front by using train and bus and by walk, you know. So in the English formation, the verb is coming after the subject, or the verb phrase ie ni ikimasu, going home, is coming after the subject part of the verb. Other part you can shift anywhere. So this way of translating from a sentence from Japanese to English actually confronted with this subject-object problem. Because English forms SVO formation, Japanese forms SOV formation, Hindi forms SOV formation, my mother tongue Malayalam forms SOV formation. So there are languages which have SOV formation and SVO formation, and some researchers concluded that we will talk about that later in our discussion. 42% of the languages in the world for SVO formation, while 43% of the languages form SOV formation. So this changes is significant because Japanese actually cannot structurally transfer his thoughts from English to, though he has knowledge about the vocabulary, he will always confront with the structure. So we have to change a new narrative that we will educate or our students or educate ourselves when we want to learn language by transferring our thought from mentalist to the structure of the language. And this is what we are going to discuss in this channel for at least 10-20 discussions, and I hope you like my discussion today. If you find this useful, share it to your friends, and like this channel, and subscribe this channel. And today I say goodbye, bye, and I will put another video in few days time. Thank you for listening.